The first monsters didn't come from the cold vacuum of space. They came from the clouds. On the planet Verx9, the sky was a permanent iron ceiling, locked down by thick layers of storm that cast the surface in eternal shadow. Lightning crawled endlessly across the heavens, a constant, silent spectacle. For millennia, the native species had evolved underground, blind to the stars and terrified of the sky itself. Their legends spoke of impossible shapes that moved above the clouds, but no one truly believed them. They were just stories told in the dark, until the war began. The powerful Aurelian coalition had claimed Verx9 as a forward resource world. Massive mining platforms spread across the planet's rocky plains like metallic scars, all guarded by a network of orbital cannons and powerful shield towers. The military assessment was simple. Verx9 was secure. The consensus was that nothing intelligent lived there, only relentless storms, primitive predators, and rock. That single fatal assumption killed 30,000 coalition soldiers in the first hour. When the alarms finally screamed to life, the sky didn't open with the familiar terror of warships or missiles. No, the sky itself descended. Enormous silhouettes tore through the cloud layer, angular, matte black shapes that absorbed all light, reflecting nothing. Scanners picked up no engine signatures, no heat blooms, just movement. Impossible, silent movement. The first strike wasn't aimed at the military bases. It targeted communications. In an instant, every satellite in orbit went dark. Then, the power grids flickered and died. The shield towers, beacons of coalition power, collapsed as if they had been shut off from the inside. Commanders screamed frantic orders into dead channels, their voices swallowed by the storm, while flashes of lightning illuminated the colossal shapes circling patiently above them, like ancient predators waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Then the ground began to shake. From the storm clouds, objects began to fall, pods burning silently through the thick atmosphere. They impacted the surface with unnatural precision, their hulls glowing cherry red before opening with a clean, mechanical hiss, and from within, the monsters stepped out. They were humanoid, but horribly wrong, taller than any known species, broader at the shoulder, and clad in segmented armor the color of ash and oil. Their helmets were completely featureless, broken only by a single narrow slit of dim white light that pulsed with cold indifference. Their armor bore no insignias, no flags, no symbols of allegiance. They did not roar, they did not scream, they did not charge in a frenzy, they simply advanced. The coalition forces unleashed hell, plasma bolts, railfire slugs, even antimatter rounds tore into the advancing line. The monsters walked right through it. Some of them fell, their armor shattered, their forms burning on the scorched earth. But the rest simply stepped over their fallen comrades without breaking stride, without a single pause. Their advance was as inevitable as the storm itself. Within hours, every surface installation on Verx9 had gone silent. The few survivors, broken and terrified, fled into the subterranean tunnels, returning to the ancient darkness their ancestors had known. It was then that the messages began, across scrambled emergency frequencies, through broken transmitters and jury-rigged relays. A single, cryptic signal repeated itself in every known language of the galaxy. Remain below the cloud layer. Do not resist. This war is not for you. No one knew who or what was speaking. Above the clouds, the monsters established absolute dominance. The coalition's orbital cannons were disabled. their systems wiped clean. Reinforcement fleets, dispatched in a panic, vanished from existence before they even entered the planet's atmosphere. Long-range scans, filtered through layers of distortion, showed massive structures forming within the storm itself, floating platforms, vast weapon arrays, and entire shipyards, all hidden by a cloak of electromagnetic interference. The Coalition, in its fear, gave them a name, the Storm Phantoms. The truth, they would soon learn, was so much worse. 3 weeks later, the Coalition deployed its final, desperate asset, the Cold Sun Fleet. This was a formation of Planet Killer's warships, designed to end wars with scorched earth finality. They entered Varix 9's orbit with shields blazing at full power, their weapons primed to burn the surface clean and sterilize the planet. For the first time in recorded history, the clouds over Varix 9 parted, but what lay above them was not empty sky. It was an armada, thousands upon thousands of ships, silent, dark, impossibly angular, hung motionless in the storm's upper layers, integrated into the very fabric of the clouds. Some were fused with the strange atmospheric structures. Others moved like living things, sliding through the violent turbulence as if it were calm water. The Cold Sun Fleet fired first, unleashing a torrent of world-breaking energy. The monsters did not respond. The fleet's weapons simply vanished in mid-flight. The energy collapsed into nothingness, as if space itself refused to carry the attack. Moments later, gravity reversed around the Coalition ships, hulls folded like paper, reactors imploded. The entire battle lasted 6 minutes. There were no survivors. That was when the message changed. This time it was clearer, sharper, colder. Humanity is now awake. The name spread through the galaxy like a contagion. Humans, a species, long thought extinct or, worse, mythologized into total irrelevance. Ancient records described them as emotional, divided, and fragile, a species that burned brightly and died out early in the galactic story. But none of those records, not a single one, mentioned this. The truth began to emerge slowly, pried from the dusty servers of ancient data vaults and forbidden archives. Humans had once ruled vast territories across the stars, not through conquest, but through containment. They had specialized in something no other species had ever truly mastered: war without mercy. When the galaxy turned against them centuries ago, humanity did not fight back in a blaze of glory. They vanished. They retreated to storm worlds, dead systems, and impossible environments that no one else wanted. They buried themselves beneath clouds, under crushing oceans, and behind lethal radiation belts. They learned patience, a cold, chilling patience. Varix 9 was never a colony. It was a fortress. The clouds were not weather. They were camouflage. And the monsters, they were not soldiers. They were custodians, the cold-hearted descendants of humanity's final, terrifying doctrine. Do not negotiate. Do not intimidate. End all threats permanently. When the last of the Coalition ground forces attempted to surrender, there was no response. When diplomats begged for a ceasefire, the storms answered only with silence. Then the humans descended, not in ships, but in controlled drops straight through the clouds, landing with surgical precision. They dismantled the remaining infrastructure, extracted the resources they needed, and erased every last trace of the Coalition's presence. They did not massacre civilians. They did not enslave the survivors. They simply removed the war. Months later, Varix 9 returned to its primordial silence. The clouds closed, the sky healed its wound. The monsters vanished back into the storm, and the galaxy learned a final, unforgettable lesson. Humanity had not grown warmer in their long isolation. They had grown colder. When a desperate galactic council asked why they had returned, only now, a single, archived human transmission provided the chilling answer. We stayed hidden so the universe could forget how to fight us. No species ever dared to challenge the clouds again, because they knew that somewhere beneath them, in the heart of the storm, cold hearts waited and monsters stood ready. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content like this. See you in the next one.